What's up, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Blakeney, aka Brandon Lee TV. Welcome back to the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Now, kick back, relax, and come take a ride with me. Now, over the holidays, women's college hoops has ceased, and I thought, with the ladies on break, why not look ahead at next year and the freshmen coming in? Now, South Carolina sits atop of the latest rankings right now, and they are hands down the best team in college hoops. We know that. And they have a lot of talent that can come back next year as well. But they also have currently one of the best recruiting classes in the nation that they're building, and they might not be done. But before we get into all that, make sure y'all hit the subscribe button for all the latest and the greatest, and join our memberships. We got that exclusive content coming daily, weekly, whenever you need it. Now, let's get into it.
You are now locked into the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Here is your host, Brandon Blakeney.
Right now, South Carolina has 3 players committed for the 2024 class. All 3 of them top 35 players. All of them with the potential to make an immediate impact at the college level. First off, we have the number 2 player in the entire 2024 class, 6'3" forward, Joyce Edwards, the do-it-all forward, man. She can play inside and anchor the paint and finish around the rim and finish through contact, but she can also play on the perimeter, put the ball on the floor, and attack the competition off the dribble. Versatility, stat sheet stuffing will be her calling card, and I think she has the next chance to be the next big superstar at South Carolina. You know what I'm saying? She coming in with a lot of accolades, but she's physically just gifted, strong, tall, physical, and just looks like a grown woman out there playing with kids, man. You can tell that she's just got a skill set that's advanced beyond her years. And she's coming into a potential nice situation depending on what Taci Cardoso does, you know what I'm saying? They got a couple seniors as well, a couple other seniors as well, depending on what Sakima Walker does. We can see Joyce Edwards getting slotted into that starting lineup, man. I don't know, between her and Ashley Watkins, but Edwards has game-changing ability, like immediate impact player. I think she's gonna come in and be force on the defensive side. She's a natural shot blocker, natural shot blocking instincts, great timing. She's athletic, she's long, and she can do a little bit of everything. There's no true weaknesses in her game, and Dawn Staley doing a good job of locking down the top player in her state, who just so happens to be the second best player in the class. Some people have her as high as first, but Edwards is going to be one of those immediate superstar impact freshmen that we're seeing that are dominating in the 2023 class. Edwards has that kind of capabilities. She was a huge target for Dawn Staley, and they got the job done with persistence and consistency. She's out of Camden, South Carolina. But when you talk about a player that can do it all, just versatile forward that can play the 2 through the 5 potentially, yeah, Edwards is a game changer, and the rich continue to get richer. Moving on to the backcourt, they're adding another 5-star point guard. Now, if y'all saw my earlier video about Maddie McDaniel out of the DMV and what she would bring to this South Carolina team, just looking at how Malaysia Wiley has completely taking the college game by storm in ways. It's exciting to see her and the potential of what her and Maddie McDaniel, a backcourt of those two, could look like. McDaniel is quick as a shiver. One step and she's blowing by you, don't blink. Off the dribble, she's not a big guard, but she plays extremely physical, and that's that DMV in her. Finishing through contact, slicing and dicing through the lane. You know what I'm saying? She can get that floater. She can hit the backboard. She's crafty off the finishes when she's getting down there amongst the trees. She can shoot it. The playmaking ability. She's going to be able to run the show, and Wiley can play off ball as well as Bree Hall. With a point guard like McDaniel, it gives you options to throw a couple different lineups out there where she can be the primary ball handler and create, or she can score it. But she's got that tenacity, that fire, that dog in her, that perfect build, that mentality, that temperament of I'm going to attack you relentlessly. The type of point guards that flourish under Don Staley's tutelage and leadership. Now, McDaniel is a player that, she might not see a lot of time early on just because of the backcourt depth with Raven Johnson there as well. But she is definitely a cornerstone for the future, and she might end up seeing some minutes freshman year depending on, how this roster shakes up, depending on what Tina Pau decides to do as well. But McDaniel, another guard that can score it from all three levels, can play, make, run the show, get others involved. She's a tenacious defender. You know what I'm saying? She will get underneath a ball handler and snatch it and be gone the other way, laying it up before you turn your head. So she's a perfect fit. Her mentality, her temperament, her approach to the game is going to fit well in South Carolina. And I think she's going to have a lot of fans in Columbia cheering for her. The 33rd ranked player at Hell Tac, 6'5". She may have the most potential and upside out of everybody in this class, and they might still not be done. She was a late bloomer, battled through some injuries, but at 6'4" or 6'5", crazy long arms, like just an elite shot blocker in this class. She's very well at moving laterally. She can get up and down the floor, long strides. She's agile. She's athletic. She's continued to see her offense improve. You know what I'm saying? Around the cup, she can finish. She's got soft touch, good hands. She can catch it, gather, use that footwork, that size, and really put her defender on the block and go to work, man. But at 6'5", you just talk about size. I think defensively, she's ahead of her offense right now. Like, the defense is what's going to get her on the floor the fastest. But, depending on what Taci Cardoso does, depending on, some of these other South Carolina bigs, depending on how, the transfer portal is crazy. Depending on how it all goes down, Tac could be somebody that gets tagged in early to make an impact. But she is a late bloomer, and she's really coming along, and I think that Coach Staley will absolutely bring the best out of her. I think she's going to bring her along and unlock that next level that we haven't seen from Tac yet. But you talking about some serious size at 6'5", pairing her with Edwards at 6'3". Just a defensive force. And we've seen Coach Staley develop bigs, you know what I'm saying? I've heard her being mentioned with the likes of Aaliyah Boston as well. So that's something to look at, man. I'm just saying that's a big name, some big shoes to fill. But you see how these South Carolina bigs, Asia Wilson as well, how these South Carolina bigs have come in and really flourished under Coach Staley. The scary part about this, though, they might not be done. They are still in the running for the number 1 overall player in the class, who's close by in North Carolina, and Sarah Strong, who would be another elite post presence for them. And then there's still guard Jelani Cambridge as well, who's a top 10 player in this class, who could still commit to the South Carolina Gamecocks as well. So they're still in the running for more recruits. They're not done yet. But these 3 recruits that they're getting, I absolutely think will fill a need eventually. You know what I'm saying? When some of those older players start to graduate, or if they do lose anybody to injuries, God forbid, or transfers or anything like that, hey, they're building, they're adding more depth. But looking ahead, basically, South Carolina could bring their entire team back next season. They got the 3 seniors that we mentioned, so not sure what they're going to do. But with that extra year of COVID, they could decide to come back, and then you're basically bringing back the number 1 team in the nation, plus 3 top 35 players. It's getting real spooky, man. It's getting really, really spooky in Columbia. Coach Staley continues to be one of the elite recruiters. She's got a great staff behind her as well. And elite talent continues to want to play for her. And I love the fact that she's locking down the home states. She's digging into South Carolina and keeping that top talent home at the Palmetto State. And then on the other side, hey, she's not shying away from North Carolina, going to the DMV, just doing a heck of a job of scouting out talent. But not necessarily like always the best player, but more so the best fit as well. When you talk about a player like McDaniel, who's top 12, one of the best point guards in the nation, if not the best, but Also, her demeanor and her personality fits, as well as Tac, you know what I'm saying, as well as Edwards. Just hard working, grind you out. They play defense, they block shots, they get steals, they hustle, they compete. And that's what you want to see. That's what we expect out of Coach Don Staley's teams. So I think they've got 3 great additions that are going to be very impactful and have long, lustrous careers out there in South Carolina. Let me know how y'all feel about the situation, though. Holler at your boy. Let me know what y'all are thinking and whose recruiting class we should be looking at. I know out there on the West Coast, USC is bringing some serious reinforcements for Juju Watkins and Ryan Marshall. Then on the other side, UCLA continues to stack them and stack them. The freshman like Kiki Rice, who's, was recruited as a freshman, not a transfer player. And then you got like the transfer players, Lauren Betts. So they're doing it on both ends. But y'all holler at me. Let me know how y'all feel about the situation. That's a wrap for us. For all the latest and the greatest, I am Brandon Blakeney, a.k.a. Brandon Lee TV. Until next time, hey, we out.